Welcome to my channel, and today we going to be looking at the terrifying real-life horror story of Wrong Turn at Mile 30 in the year was 1982, and a young couple named Jenny and John were driving through the West Virginia countryside when they decided to take a shortcut only known to locals. The road they chose was called Middle Creek Road, also known as Mile 30. It was said to be a rough dirt road that wound its way through the hills and hollows of the Appalachian Mountains. The road seemed to go on forever, and they hadn't seen another car or any sign of civilization for quite some time. Then they started to notice strange things happening around them, and a face that was covered in what looked like dirt. He was naked except for a pair of ragged overalls that were slung low on his hips, revealing a pair of startlingly white, almost luminous buttocks. But for the adventurous couple, it was just the kind of thrill they were looking for. They were all tall and thin, with long, greasy hair and dirt smeared on their faces, and all of them seemed to be gesturing towards the car, urging them to stop. As they drove deeper into the woods, the trees closed in around them, blocking out the sunlight and plunging the car's interior into near darkness. They had taken the wrong turn at mile 13. There are many stories like this from West Virginia and other rural areas. What makes this particular story so disturbing is the vivid imagery used to describe the strange figures that Jenny and John encounter. The tall, thin men with their dirt-smeared faces, and the one man's particularly white buttocks are burned into the minds of anyone who hears this story. They just kept driving, desperately trying to put as much distance between themselves and those creepy figures as possible. They could feel the isolation pressing in on them, but they pressed on, excited by the adventure and the challenge of conquering this wild mountain road. It was then that they noticed something strange about themselves. They were covered in scratches, and one of their tires was flat. You can feel the isolation and fear that Jenny and John experience as they drive deeper into the woods. The story is a masterclass in building suspense and keeping the reader guessing what will happen next. But as the minutes ticked by, their excitement began to turn into unease. If something feels wrong, then it probably is. Don't let your curiosity or sense of adventure lead you into danger, because sometimes the unknown is best left unknown. At first it was just little things, like the feeling that they were being watched, or the sudden rustle in the bushes that made them jump. And if you like this sort of content, please subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching. Then it got worse. They began to see strange shapes moving in the trees, and they heard what sounded like screams and whispers coming from the forest. Then, as if out of nowhere, a figure emerged from the trees, a tall, thin man with long, greasy hair. And then he started to run alongside the car, keeping pace with it easily, and making strange gestures as if trying to communicate something to the terrified couple inside. As he ran, the man's buttocks swayed from side to side, catching the light and flashing like a beacon in the darkness. This went on for what felt like hours, with the man never stopping or slowing down until finally he disappeared into the trees as quickly as he had appeared, shaken but relieved. Jenny and John finally reached the end of the road and turned onto a highway. But their ordeal was not over yet. As they drove, they began to see more strange figures standing by the side of the road, watching them. But Jenny and John didn't stop. Finally, they reached a gas station and pulled in, practically collapsing out of the car in relief. It was only then that they realized that they had been driving on the same stretch of road for hours, and somehow had even gotten anywhere. Now, obviously, this story is rooted in folklore. The sense of dread and impending doom that the author creates is palpable. This story is a reminder to always listen to your gut. What do you think? Is there a place you'd like to visit? Let me know in the comments below.